Okay, here we go. And actually, I'm so excited to start this second episode because now we see you. Welcome, Peter.
Hey, welcome. It's the big reveal that probably anybody who knows both of us already knew. So maybe not a huge secret, but it's still like something fun to reveal nonetheless. I'm excited to be working with you more, Alexia, with Capto more. And I'm excited to be here today for the second episode of the podcast that we're figuring out as we go.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much that. But for those two episodes, the goal is very pretty much to learn more about each other. And yeah, super excited as well to have you on board. So let's jump on the first question, actually, Peter. Tell us about you, like your story, but also like one thing is like tell me something that I don't know already.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'll just give like the origin story of Peter, which should be helpful. You know, the whole reason that we're doing these first few episodes with just the two of us is so that like anybody who doesn't know us can get to know us a little bit better. Hopefully it's a foundation for people that even start listening to this, you know, years or months down the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, my name is Peter. The last name is pronounced Stoobyyy. If you spell it out, it's like Stoobby is the best way to pronounce it. I'll make the joke that a lot of people that know me super well just end up calling me by my last name, and that's kind of been like a catchy thing for the majority of my life. Yeah, so who am I? I grew up in New Jersey, which is a state that's pretty close to New York City. And that's pretty much what it's well known for, that and the Jersey Shore, for anybody that's like a big fan of MTV and stuff like that. But yeah, I grew up
because I know where you are now. How did you happen to move actually?
Yeah, so I moved mostly because I met my wife and, you know, the partner in New York City when I was working there, and COVID happened and we started a family together. And when you start a family together, you move close back to the rest of your family. And I'm closer to my wife's family in the Washington, D.C. area now. So it's great having that support system. I also like Washington, D.C. as like a less hectic area than New York City, as much as like I love living and working in New York for like 15 years. Yeah. Also, the weather is slightly nicer just being 4 hours south of New York. And I guess maybe something you don't know about me. I grew up playing ice hockey, but I hate the cold. So like I like warmer weather, and I like being outside more when I'm not freezing. I like being outside with flip-flops on and a t-shirt. So
we will
yeah.
meet in the middle. We will meet in the middle. I don't like heat, but actually in terms of weather, I've been living in California for a while, and so yeah, I've been in Washington DC, but like it's not as warm yet as the south.
Yeah, exactly. So and I still like being close to like a major metropolitan area, and DC is like an awesome city as well. I'm getting to know it so much better. But yeah, I mean, like to bring it back to New York City and like where I grew up, like I didn't grow up actually close to New York. So there's portions of New Jersey that you can live in and like have your parents not work in New York. And that was where I grew up. So it was still this place that was far away with bright lights, corporate skyscrapers, and, you know, big wigs of titans of industry. So I didn't have direct exposure to that, but still proximity. And that's what motivated me to get out into the world and frankly, like get out of the town, the smaller town that I was in. So at the time that I was growing up, there were a lot of movies, news headlines, and like friends of friends who all like made it on Wall Street. And like Wall Street was the biggest deal for me and something that I attached to. So I viewed that as like my ticket out. My plan was that I identified a university that specialized in that career path.
Yeah.
You know, I'll make a joke, but it was also very serious. Like I leveraged my photographic memory at the time to get the high score I needed to on admissions tests to offset my otherwise like middle of the road school grades.
I see. I can relate.
And I did all that I needed to do to get on that career path, and went to school for economics and finance, and really just aggressively pursued a career there, only to graduate and realize that I don't have a close friend, a relative, or a neighbor that runs a hedge fund or could get me a job at Goldman Sachs. And the glory days were a little bit past in the industry. I don't have any regrets, though, because I learned to be scrappy. I still worked on Wall Street for, I would say it was like upwards of 8 to 10 years. I worked on what were called sales and trading desks for like what were completely unknown brokerages or not like brand name companies.
So so then you completed already the part that I didn't know about. So I didn't know at all these parts of you.
Yeah. So like at the time, the way that like the brokerage houses that I worked for would provide value to their clients was giving them networking opportunities or giving them unique access to executives that could help give them information about stocks that they were interested in. So that's what I did. I found reasons to get them together in like a private dining room, whether it was like a high profile guest speaker, like the CEO of some big company, or getting them to debate a peer who had like an alternative opinion about a stock that they both were like competing over or invested in.
It's so funny because it's pretty much like, I think led you to today. Like it's so like I guess through the episode we will like get to the part where like what you joined Capto for and things like that. But I can recognize already some like first patterns of where you went afterward and how we met actually.
100%. It was community and networking at like a smaller scale. Like, of course there was like things like LinkedIn and social media at this time, but it wasn't like hugely leveraged, especially in Wall Street and the workplace.
Yeah.
So like fast forward, I probably hosted 1,000 lunches and dinners with these people. And it's like in hindsight, it was kind of like impressive to realize that these were some of like the most powerful and influential people in the finance industry. So like that too gave me an understanding of what you needed to do to compete at like the highest level, and also like provide value to people that were getting infinite sources of value.
And
then my career, in that space, people became more obsessed with data, and whether they were doing that from surveys or counting the number of cars in a Walmart parking lot, part of the way that my career went is like, sourcing that information on a larger scale. And I ended up joining a company that did surveys of CIOs and heads of IT.
Yeah.
And I was just doing kind of a similar model of just having discussions with those survey respondents. And that was my entry into tech. And like, so now it's gone from there, and been excited to be a part of the tech community industry, but like definitely like a non-traditional upbringing into my role.
And that's what led you to RoboCorp, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because like that was my next question. Like basically what like we met 5 years ago, which is like crazy because after 5 years we are joining now together again, working together again. But like I was very impressed from the beginning on like your ability to transfer or like communicate a vision, a passion. Like it's more like I really liked the fact that we both were wanting to help people and participate to a bigger thing, to a bigger purpose by helping like on doing what we do. And it's what we did actually at like when we met. But it's how you found your way, I guess, like into automation. But how did you happen to actually reach RoboCorp?
Yeah, so like RoboCorp was like this almost like perfect confluence of like just things happening at the right time in the right place. It was my entry into a career of actually building a technology product and not just spitting out research about technology products. I knew as much at that time through my conversations with CIOs and all the surveys that we were doing with the heads of the CIOs and heads of IT, that automation was hot. everybody was adopting UiPath at the time.
Yeah,
when I came across RoboCorp, they had just gotten their funding from Benchmark Capital, who was and still is a big deal in open source technology. But like, I actually got to just give credit where credit's due. It came down to an individual who believed in me. I was hired by a gentleman named Patrick Moran. For those of you that like follow the tech industry closely, Patrick was a New Relic CMO and an early employee there. He went on to work at Salesforce and Calendly and was serving as an interim leader at RoboCorp. And, you know, I owe a lot of credit to him for connecting the dots of somebody that was coming from a non-traditional background, but somebody that could still bring a lot of value to an early stage tech startup. And from there, it was more just about like figuring it out as I go. Like, how do you build an open source company? How do you build a partnership program that complements an open source company? It's all community led. It's built like that's how we met. Like,
that's how we met. Yeah, we were partners.
Yeah,
and we wanted to like we were both in the like the purpose that was like shared was amazing. But yeah, that's actually, it's funny that you mentioned UiPath, because that's what previously. So in the first episode, I was mentioning that before I was at PwC, and we were deploying and integrating like UiPath. And UiPath, like others, it's not only UiPath, like they have flaws as proprietary technologies and lack of flexibility and things like that. There is a lot of things that we can talk about in future episodes. But that's how we met, like, because I was looking for a better thing, and RoboCorp was enabling to do like open source, which is like the higher end of things. So yeah, that was an interesting time, and the community was amazing, I think.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you for like, you know, the RoboCorp experience was great. I think that we did something super special at RoboCorp, which was like lift up the entirety of people that were like changing access to automation and like democratizing it is like one of my favorite things that we used to do. Is like, how can we lift up companies and partners like Capto to go out and deliver the automation that they can to their clients, that their clients can't afford UiPath, or they just can't, you know, figure it out themselves and make that investment. But like, how could RoboCorp partner with companies like Capto? So like, yeah, I think that's a theme that stayed constant today, of like why I'm so enthusiastic to work with you and Capto now, like in a more official capacity, and bring it full circle. Exactly.
I'm smiling because it's like I'm trying to not like say stuff that's like or spill the beans too much, but because it's exactly what we'll talk about this more afterwards. But actually, like the thing I wanted to talk about first before that was, so AI agent, like we talked about it in the first episode, even if you were appearing as a robot. It's a buzzword. It's talked to lots, like everyone talk about it at the moment. There's a lot of AI agent companies. Why can you share actually why Capto, and what's your take actually on the buzz around it?
Yeah. So okay, well, why don't I start with like why Capto? I think that's like more important for like anybody out there like who's either building a business or looking to join one. Like, I still have a lot of learning to do in my career, but I've learned so much to know that like it's important to have belief and alignment like with the people that you're working with. And for me, having known you for so many years, I understand how committed you are to the journey and figuring it out no matter what. Like, I've known you and I've seen you as a business, like kind of like, I hope you don't mind if I use this word, like survive and just and build slowly. But then now I see that all the hard work that you did for like the past 4 years or 5 years is paying off in the acceleration that you're seeing in the last 6 months to a year. So for me, like I'm enthusiastic about supporting that. And I believe in people that stick it out. You stuck it out more than I would, like admittedly, like I would have. So
I actually was talking about this afternoon, not like really saying that basically this was like tough, but I'm so grateful for having pushed like towards that thing. Like I'm a big fan of Alex Hormozy, and he often says like when he shows often a graph like people like stopping, and they often stop like just before the things get up. And I kind of I'm like habited by this. Like I know I will stay there because I love what I'm doing. I love I love personally what I'm doing, but also like I think I have a big vision on there is a big purpose for this type of like support for businesses, for finance teams. We will detail all of that, but like there is a lot of to do there. And yes, once you have this purpose and once you know you want to do that, then like things keep like you just keep going. But
Don't give up. Don't give up. Yeah.
And now we are like now the scale is much better. And so yeah, it's exciting to have you on board for that. But so then like the second part of the question was like, what's your take on the buzzword?
Yeah. So listen, like before I came and started working more closely with you, Alexa, like I was working at Gartner. Gartner prevented me from basically having this relationship where I could advise or work with other companies like yourself. And, but I still got all sorts of experience and understanding of obviously like what their analysts were talking about and what the, tech ecosystem at large was talking about. And AI agents, like it's absolutely like the top of mind, highest mind share, highest interest. And you don't need Gartner to tell you that. Just log on to LinkedIn on any particular day and see all the posts that are happening from tech influencers. So, but my take on AI agents is that it's like not too dissimilar to maybe anything in life, that there's maybe more people who are talking the talk than actually walking the walk. And I feel like that's the opportunity that Capto has or might be seizing as well and seen in the market over like your success in the past few months and kind of like that trajectory that things are on, is that you have countless executives that are seeing AI agents everywhere. They're seeing people talk about it, but they've yet to actually put them into reality, or I would say that they're bombarded by like specialized offerings that like solve problems for them, but in a more specific way, but they don't have an opportunity to work like Capto in like more of like a customer, like bespoke type of way. So I think it's kind of like twofold. Like Capto offers a lot of things to its clients, and like one of the main things is like flexibility. And Alexa, fill me in if there's more that we should share. But for me, that's what makes it exciting, is like, okay, bringing to market something that everybody wants, but like maybe hasn't necessarily figured out yet. And it is noisy, but like we can be the sense of reason within that umbrella of all the noise around it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely like, I think there's two parts on this. We definitely have the wish on the like to clarify all of that and to bring information to kind of educate as well on everything that's happening, because there is a lot happening and not everything is good for everyone. And the second thing is also like just to actually share on what concretely is happening around here. And so that's there's two sides on the coin.
Yeah, cool.
But so regarding this, then after, like, so why, like, the big part of what's happening is like there's a huge AI agentic kind of like movement. And over the next like years, what do you see happening? What's your vision? We talked about it past, but
I don't know if this is like more of a hope than a vision, or hey, they could be two of the same things. But where I would get most enthusiastic for Capto to deliver upon is that AI and the agentic movement shouldn't be privileged for a select few. And I just know this, like, again, talking back to my experiences working in the automation space, only 5 years ago, but it seems like light years ago now, is that it was like at that time truly reserved for only people that could afford it and only people that can make that like significant investment to have it. So it was at that time of like building RoboCorp and their partnership program of like that concept of democratizing access.
Yeah.
You know, I would say that that's like the number one thing of like what I would get so excited about Capto to deliver. Like you already work with a number of SMBs or like lesser known businesses, but like who cares? Because the impact is like so much more tangible. And maybe it's like an underdog story. Yeah.
There is this, and the other thing I think is like any technology, and I'm often referring to that. So for Bitcoin, like it's like it's not really impactful, and it's really not like shared with like, or people don't understand it until it's shared to everyone. And I think like the crypto, for example, isn't clear to a lot of people because it's very hard, and very few actually are like going onto it. And it's more spread now, of course, but like at the beginning, it was really something unclear. And I think we are in the same age for Agentic AI, where there is like, for now, it's just for the few because you need to be so technical to actually see what can be done. Like it's not about gadgets, it's not about like stuff that you own. Like the buzzword is really a buzzword. You see a lot of things, and it's not ideal often. But like the technology itself is magical, and it will transform way business works. And it's just like it won't transform the way business works if it only concerns the big ones. It will transform it if it concerns everyone, and it will concern everyone by the power that it has.
Yeah, cool.
That's I think we both answered that question.
I'm sure we'll find some stuff that we disagree with too. So for you, those of you listening into episode 2 here, like, I'll actually do plenty of times disagree off screen, but like when it comes to like the vision and like the reality of like where we think things can go, like, I mean, coming back to like why Capto, like why are we working together? Like, hey, that like we can't hide from that. So
and to be fair, like we will find stuff where we disagree, but so far it has been a while. But so now we have like set the context, things like this, and now I want to kind of like get another level, which is more the podcast on not even the podcast, but more what we are doing. Not only the podcast and that. What do you think in the AI agent area, like to actually make it accessible to everyone? Because I think it's not even about the technology or whatever. It's like for people to know and to dare to actually put those technologies to work. What do you think is missing in the communication, in the network, or anything that you think is missing for like what are we doing? Like what are we doing? And how will we solve this?
Listen, like you and I are a part of the problem, but also a part of the solution. Everybody's creating content. Everybody is out there making more frequent LinkedIn posts, trying to stand out, more frequent social media posts. Like, frankly, like I'm going to make like a pretty hard statement here. Like if you're a leader and you're not doing that, what are you doing? Because like operating in the shadows is like not the way business is done these days. So like that's something that, like I want to see and like promote people coming out and like encouraging more public transparency of how they build their business and how that like you don't have to be like so overly protective and close guarded with stuff, especially if you're an early stage business, or like especially like if you're you have control of like what you feel, strong control of what you feel is like a good niche, and you have confidence in what you're doing. Then so bringing that all together, like it makes it challenging to stand out. I had way more success with my LinkedIn network with like doing sales or content creation, community building through like for relative to the amount of effort that I would put into it like 5 years ago versus what I do today. But where I want to see it go and where I see it going more is like emphasizing those that are like at this whole extra level of creative and culturally in tune, connecting the dots with what's happening in the world, or like when Taylor Swift releases her like next album, and how we can like make a joke about that and align that to what we're doing in our work, like that to me is like, that's talent. And I appreciate people that do that. And I want to be on that and I want us to be on that level.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is that if I might add one thing is like, there is also the fact that with AI, and that's one of the like potential bad sides, let's say, is that there is a lot of noise and a lot of content out there that generated by AI, and it lost in authenticity in some way. So at the same time that it actually, there is so much more noise and it's like harder to get heard. At the same time, there is a bigger and bigger bonus for people that have the authenticity and the fact to do it like yourself. You can recognize it. And I can see it honestly on like I'm doing my LinkedIn. And since the team, like we have a bigger team, so now like they took control of the Capto page, and I have my own page. And when I do my posts, that's me. And actually, it's so cool. And actually, I get recognition with like interaction, messages, leads, and things like that. Because when I talk about it, I have my voice. People recognize it and things like this. And so it's I think there is a big thing there that missing indeed.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So if we then doing all of this, if we fast forward to 6 months from now, what do you hope listeners or readers will have learned and taken away from? Actually, let's focus on this one for this podcast.
Yeah. So for like the podcast and everything that we're doing out of this, it's like all a fit to like what we want to do as a company, which is just like connect people. We hope that the people that join us on this podcast, like we hope that that's a new face for people. Like I am sure that we will also have like known figures at big companies or people that you would consider influencers. Like I would love to have them featured. But to hear that somebody who maybe like hasn't like gone that full-fledged like approach of like content creation or like, you know, putting themselves out there, but that we've helped them expand their network. And you know, I would say like bonus points if it's a connection that helped them advance their project or career. Like, you know, I think like a lot of what we're planning is like highlighting, you know, the finance leaders and the finance executives that, you know, both we're working with, but also we feel would be like helpful. Like a lot of those folks don't get the limelight that they deserve.
No,
because it's just not there. So the other thing I would say is like, I hope that people feel comfortable enough to reach out to us and be a part of this, even if they've never been on a podcast in their life, and like be a part of this journey and like, you know, just help us improve the personal connection that we want to have with the people that we work with and the people that listen. And the final thing I'll say on this one, I hope that my answers today are wildly different. Like I hope the reality is different 6 months from now or a year from now. You and I have gone back and forth about all the things that we can do with this font, and like we're just like trying to figure it out. And I hope that it evolves to a place that like we completely unexpected it today.
I think there is two things for me. There is like have fun. The fun part, we talked about it, like and it's something that it's part of the authenticity I was talking about. Like just have fun, just do what you think is best or that's what you prefer to do. And often you will find the people that prefer that like you, and so you will work super well with them and you will do amazing project with them and things like this. That's the first one. The second one would be for me as well to actually have like share the power and the beauty of finance. Like because at the moment we actually focus on finance, even if we have like automation in different departments. But like I talked for this afternoon today with someone we will invite probably like in one of the future episodes. And they were telling me about like their finance strategy internally and how like basically it changed the whole business, and they discovered a new line of business thanks to the finance analysis and reporting. I always find this like I more and more get passionate about finance just because like those people don't get a voice indeed, like don't get the space to explain and to show like the great thing happening there. And I I think Agentic AI actually can help them, give them like all the power that they deserve for helping their businesses, because they will have like, as I listen a lot to the podcast DOAC, and they always say like, or they said once like it's like having a 500 people team in your finance department, because it will just get unlimited power to the CFOs out there that have like limited resource, but we're able to do still like as much as with 500 teams.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've never been a CFO. I have like the school that I went to like produced a lot of CFOs, and my friends are CFOs or VPs of finance. Like, what I've heard about the role, and maybe a few CFOs can chime in and pat me on the back for this, is like, in order to be like that next level CFO, you need to know you need to know the business, and you don't need to know just the numbers.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something where agents are like supporting CFO leaders to give them, call it like the time, the intelligence, the everything that you need to enhance that other side of the role that like CFOs aren't traditionally known for, which is like having that executive level presence and understanding of the strategy of the business. Like, yeah. So I think it's a great fit for like hopefully a few of the future guests that we have like right away. But it's awesome to hear that like we're already talking to people to be a part of this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. And actually, it leads to, we are wrapping up this episode, and it leads to the last question, which actually will become a classic, as decided from the first episode. So, Agent of AI, you are the new one. Who, like, tell me who you see would be like a great one to be joining in one of the next episodes.
Yeah. So, like, from what I see and like people that I know, well, I hope they don't mind me calling them out, but they're like superheroes of AI right now. Lassie Rindum, I hope I pronounced I know I pronounced his first name right. I hope I pronounced his last name right. He's on LinkedIn and just really doing a great job and really accelerating like his content in this space. And an all-time just like constant favorite is Doug Shannon. Doug's, did very similar to, with Capto, like he was a big UiPath, big automation, big RPA guy who's just done incredible stuff like pivoting to the world of AI. And
very open guy. Like I talked with him like recently, and very good. A good hero.
Yeah, the reason that I like you that's a great point. Like that, like I like heroes, and I like recommending people that, both Lassie and Doug like fall in that category of they've already built followings and they already have like a real thought leadership element to them. But if you reach out to Lassie or Doug and you say like with, genuine interest and a genuine reason to connect with them, they'll respond to your message. And I value I think people like that are the real superheroes, no matter how many followers they have and how much, all the other stuff around it. So, that's something to keep in mind for all of you that are like crossing the chasm of like, okay, I've successfully like built my network and I've built my like, make sure you take the time to have those like do those personal responses and those personal, catch ups with people. Yeah.
Yeah. You would be responsible of contacting them and like it would be great to have them, I think. Cool. So that's my last question that's coming. So then, like, not real people, what's your favorite? Like, what would be your favorite hero, or what would be your hero, if you?
Favorite hero. Well, here's the thing. I kind of is he a hero or a villain?
Doesn't matter. Like, you can be a good villain.
I'm gonna play on like the secret agent like type of element. I think one of my favorite like movies of just like, okay, if it's on TV, I'm gonna watch it, is the Thomas Crown Affair. And character of like kind of just like creatively being able to like do all the deception and yes, maybe he was the villain in the end because he was stealing this artwork. But like to me, like that's like that was like cool. And then like having the layer on top of that of just like the things that he was into and like the lifestyle and the adrenaline that he like, did with all the sailboats and the cars and like just kind of like that's to me that's a cool guy. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, Pierce Brosnan, right? So I'll never be as good looking as Pierce Brosnan. Probably never have as much money as they portrayed him to in that film, and never be creative enough to steal like multi-million.
Creative is amazing. You are a good creative. Yeah. I vote for your LinkedIn posts.
Okay. All right, but you know what? LinkedIn posts don't let me steal from an artwork from Museum of Modern Art, right?
Yeah. If I see Mona Lisa at your place, then I will have that.
Cool.
Okay, cool, great. I think it's those two episodes were great to influence each other and to like kind of start the next phase. I think that's a wrap for today, and we can leave it here.
Yeah. So thanks for everybody for listening to episode 2. They'll get like our main goal is making each one better and better afterwards, whether it's the guests or like the questions that we're asking. So like send us a message, leave a comment, do whatever you do with this type of stuff, and we'll see you next time.
As you said, Peter, thanks to everyone for watching.